No matter how many movies I see, and I've seen my fair share, there's always going to be classic films that I've missed. I mentioned earlier in this project that I've never seen Citizen Kane. How can you have never seen that? I'll see it someday. If it were on Netflix, I would have seen it by now. Well, today I'm going to watch another one of those classic films that people say, you haven't seen The Omen? I have not seen The Omen. But I am going to remedy that quickly. A 70s film starring Gregory Peck about a guy whose son may very well be the Antichrist. Or is he? I'm leaning towards he is. It'd be kind of it'd be really disappointing if it turned out, nope, he's not the Antichrist, he's just a pain in the butt. Be like, oh, that's okay. Directed by Richard Donner. I did not know that. Huh. Richard Donner is the guy who directed Superman and The Goonies, the Lethal Weapon movies, another film I'm not thinking of. So, alright. Is it rated R? Ooh, it's rated R. Alright. Woot. Hey, I saw Mad Max Fury Road this morning. But as with the Avengers, I didn't see it on Netflix, so I'm not going to talk about it. Alright, Omen time.
Hello?
Hey, Mom, it's Andrew.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm doing alright. Yourself?
I'm hanging in here. What's up?
Well, I'm doing my 30 days of Netflix thing.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. And I'm currently recording one of the episodes, so this is being recorded just so you know. Don't know if I'm going to use it or not, but I had a question about The Omen. Have you seen The Omen?
Yeah, I have, as a matter of fact. The original one, not the remake.
They remade it?
I believe they did.
Recently?
No, I don't remember, honey. You know how I'm a really bad keeper of time.
That's alright. I wasn't even aware I'm not at all surprised they remade it, but,
Well, they just remade Poltergeist. I hear it's terrible.
Yeah, I heard that too. Well, my question was, the movie starts out with Gregory Peck and his wife, who's got to be at least 20 years his junior.
Yeah, well, of course.
Nice to see Hollywood has kept that tradition alive.
Yeah.
It's not really fair because every time I try to date people 20 years my junior, I end up in jail.
That's right. You can't do that until you're over 40.
That's right. Okay, so, or at least 38. Gregory Peck's wife, the kid dies, she delivers a baby, but the baby dies, and he says, oh crap, she's not going to take well to that. I better find her a brand new baby so she won't know. So he adopts a child in like 10 minutes.
2 days, yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be like he just ran across the street to the adoption agency. It's like, I need another kid. Mine died. Now, aside from the fact that even in 1976, I don't think it was that easy to adopt a child.
I think you're right. Although it was a lot easier than it is now.
Do you think a mom would be that easy to trick?
I don't think she was tricked. She just wanted a kid so bad that she would deal with a substitute. I don't think she thought it was her own.
Oh, she does. He doesn't tell her. She doesn't. I mean, she suspects later in the movie that I don't feel like this is my child. He tries to totally pull one over. Like, here's your baby. And she's like, oh, my baby. I'm like, would that actually work?
He switches in the hospital, right?
Well, he goes to a church and they say, oh, we've got a spare baby here whose mother died in childbirth. So it's like fate. And so he brings the new baby. And this seems to be like with an hour or so of her giving birth. And I'm thinking, would a new mother be like, oh, great, my baby? Or would a new mother be like, who the hell is that?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I saw you come out, and then you couldn't fool me. Once I'd laid eyes on you, I knew you by smell and sight. I knew that was my baby.
You know,
because I saw you be born. I was awake.
Yeah, I remember I saw a study or read a study or something. Hold on a second. I need to turn up the volume here. There we go. I saw a study where they tried to see how savvy mothers who just gave birth were. So, and long story short, what they found was mothers who have just delivered have trouble telling their baby by sight, but by touch and smell, they nailed it.
Right. You just know your own kid's smell and touch. Yeah. I don't know. You just know.
So
babies all pretty much look alike, except for Ashley Jordan. No, Sabrina.
Oh?
Oh, she was ugly spud, and she was...
So, little Sabrina Jordan was...
Very Simeon, I felt so sorry, but she's a beautiful woman now, but she had very dark hair, and a lot of it. Head, body hair, everything was very dark.
Huh. Well...
And, of course, it all shed in the first couple of months. You know, it's that birth here, because she was a little preemie, too, just a little bit.
Okay.
So, yeah, she was not an attractive child. And that's so hard when the baby's really butt ugly. What do you say to the mother?
It's like, oh, Sue, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, here's my baby. Oh, isn't it cute? Yeah.
Maybe we should put that back in for a few weeks. And
I don't think it's done cooking yet.
Yeah. It's a little raw. You know, one of the things, I actually like this movie. It's definitely...
Well, it's just that the whole premise didn't work.
Well, I mean, if you kind of ignore the entire premise of the film not working, it ends up being pretty fun because you end up with it's kind of an investigation. Gregory Peck and David Warner is in this. They're trying to get to the bottom of this whole thing and all these strange things that are happening. And this is also almost the prototypical Final Destination. Some of the kills in this movie are amazing.
Yeah, I can't remember real clearly a lot of it. You have to remember, I saw this movie when it came out.
Wow. That was like...
So you're talking many moons ago.
That was before I was born.
And I don't think I ever rewatched it.
Yeah, well, the first kill is...
I thought that dark-haired little boy was wonderful.
Yeah, they get a lot of good... Because he has that typical Gerber baby chubby face.
Oh, yeah.
But they managed...
Gorgeous kid, but he had such a sly look all the time.
Yeah, I imagine they probably shot about 80 hours of footage and just managed to get some really good shots of this kid looking evil.
Yeah, I would think that's exactly what they did. I don't think... Especially the young Damien. I don't think you can get little kids to act that... Well, maybe you can. I don't know.
Oh, that reminds me. When this movie was starting, this is, of course, back in the day where all of the credits are before the movie. And it said, Whoso What's He as Damien. And I kind of chuckled to myself saying, oh, well, of course his name is Damien. But then I thought, is this the movie that actually... Is this the movie that makes us have that stigma towards that name?
Probably, because I don't think it had that stigma before the movie that I can remember.
Cool.
You want to take this to the other room, honey? Keep going, honey.
Hi, Tim.
Andy says hi, Tim. He says hello, Andy. See you in a month, he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better show up.
And of course all the cats are there too, right?
All the cats are outside.
Oh, well, close enough.
It's summertime here. They like it outside. It's not cold.
So,
anyway, yeah, it may have been that this movie caused, this movie got a lot of people, upset. It's kind of like The Exorcist. People would sleep with the lights on.
wow.
This movie didn't make it as bad, but, some people were a little concerned about their own young babies, they swap my kids.
Well, I imagine. I mean, now, if you found out that I was the Antichrist, how difficult would it be for you to stab me with lots of long knives?
It would be hard because I have known you as not the Antichrist. But
this kid's only
was
5.
Never, an adorable child.
Mm-hmm.
He was always kind of standoffish and aloof and weird.
Well, and also kind of raised by nannies for the most part.
Well, you have to, these people had a lot of money, so they would have a nanny taking care of most of it. So, yeah, I'm sure that there were...
Can you stab your son? You mean this stranger? Sure.
I mean, I don't know that I could do it. I don't know if I could do it to anybody.
Yeah.
Because there's always that doubt in my mind. Are you sure? Couldn't you be mistaken? I mean, there has to be another explanation.
What I think is pretty interesting, how the movie ends, of course, is he's about to skewer Damien on the altar, and the cops kick down the door and shoot Gregory Peck, and the president adopts the Antichrist. So the Antichrist rules the world, and everything sucks, and that's the end of the movie. Now,
they don't show that part. They only,
Well, I mean, maybe in the Omen 2. They made sequels to this, didn't they? It seems to me
they did. They made the Omen 2, and then I think they made a movie called Damien.
That's right. That's right. There's at least 2 sequels to this. I haven't seen them, of course, but my guess for the sequel is the president now has to pick up where Gregory Peck left off and read. It's probably the exact same movie done again. Have you seen it?
No, I didn't see The Omen 2. I very rarely watch sequels, and I never saw Damien either. I didn't find the movie good enough to want to see the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
It was, certainly a disturbing movie, which is what they wanted. So they did make a disturbing movie, but I just didn't care about any of the characters. You know me, if I don't like the people in the movie, I don't give a shit about the movie.
Yeah.
Or who lives or dies. Mm-hmm. I have to like the main characters.
Yeah.
And I really didn't like Gregory Peck, and I didn't like his wishy-washy wife, and,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
nannies were...
They were kind of non-entities in this movie.
Yeah, except for the one who hung herself over the balcony.
That was amazing.
This is for you.
I'm doing this for you, Damien. She jumps off the balcony, and I've seen enough movies where people jump off of something and hang themselves, but that rope snaps her back, and she crashes through the window. It's amazing. And that's why I call this kind of an early Final Destination movie, especially David Warner's death, because it's the one where the brake on the truck fails and it rolls down a hill and it's carrying sheets of glass that fly at him and lop off his head, and then his head goes rolling over the sheet of glass.
Yeah, very creative.
That's great.
I think you would like that.
Well, yeah, I love...
But, I mean, overall, when you start with a bad, unbelievable premise, and you don't like the characters, the whole movie kind of leaves you cold.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I'm going to revisit, but I found a lot
and I really thought, the most memorable part of the movie was that nanny jumping off the balcony.
Yeah, and that's right at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, but that really... Well, he was, what, 3 or 4 at that time. But, I mean, it was...
Something.
That was what I remembered.
Yeah, that's a great scene. And I love... the wife's swan dive out of a... Well, the nanny pushes her, but she goes flying out of a hospital window, crashes into a car, actually into an ambulance, goes through the roof of the ambulance and lands right on a gurney. I'm like, well, that's the best place you could possibly land. Of course, she dies, but...
it was the 18th floor, and what was the 8th floor?
It was up there. She falls.
It was up there.
Yeah, and
not
she was
so high that you couldn't see she was going to, fall. I mean,
Well, I mean, she was in the hospital.
Skyscraper height, but yeah, it was
right.
up there.
I mean, she was in the hospital because she fell off the second floor balcony of her home because Damien rammed the stool she was standing on with his little tricycle.
Yeah, him and that tricycle was amazing.
And the one problem with the movie is that they never resolve if the goldfish survived. Because the bowl of goldfish falls off the balcony and along with the wife. And the wife ends up in the hospital, but did anyone pick up the goldfish?
Probably not.
Won't someone think of the goldfish?
Because you're too busy worrying about the wife? And Damien wouldn't give a shit.
Oh, is that what I was supposed to be doing?
I think you weren't supposed to worry about the goldfish.
Oh, okay. Well, I found the goldfish about as interesting as the lead characters in this movie, so...
Yeah, well, so did I. That was one of the problems with the movie.
Yeah. I think the message of this movie is traffic safety, because if Gregory Peck had simply obeyed the speed limit, calmly driven Damien to the church, he would have had... all night to go stabby. The only reason the cops kick down the door and shoot him is because he blew through a red light at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, he was going very quickly.
And there was
I thought the moral of the story was don't try to fool your wife.
Oh, don't lie to your wife. That's a good one, too. I like that.
And none of this would happen if you wouldn't have tried to pull a fast one on the old lady.
That's right. Don't lie to the missus. And don't speed.
There you go.
That's what the Omen is about.
2 good pieces of advice.
That's right. So, I think that's it. So, thank you, Mom, for talking to me about the Omen.
Oh, baby, you're very welcome. It was my pleasure. You have a good day.
You too.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
You.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye. 30 Days of Netflix continues tomorrow. See you then.